right, we're live. Stop talking
Okay,
shit.
we're live.
We're doing it.
Stop talking about my mama.
No controversial remarks.
Yeah. Massive Panda is already here. What's up, Massive Panda? How massive are you, Panda? All right, so here we are. Once again, got Chuck Gibson, Rob Norton, and just some dude named Jason. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing here, but we can ignore him. Talk to the other guys. By the way, did you find any old art, Chuck, or anything?
I
Or
did
you
not.
had a book you were gonna show or something, I think, right? Or no?
Oh, yeah, but I kind of have to have my camera set up for that.
Oh, that's cool. No
No,
worries.
I can't, I
Well,
don't know how to switch it digitally.
Yeah.
well, I dug up some stuff.
Sweet. I'll show you this too. This is pretty funny. So I found an old giant portfolio I've had since high school that I've just been collecting stuff over the years. And actually, here, let me. I forgot. I gotta put my phone back on. There we go. Look at this stack of sample pages I found from just the old days. Look how. Just to show you how thick it is. I didn't realize I did this many sample pages, but if I turn it sideways, you can see.
Oh, wow.
It's like an
Heck
entire
yeah.
comic. So. Oh. There we go. It's like tons of pages. So I have a geek out moment though too. So just real quick, since I kind of just stole the show from you, just real quick, so I work with Chap Yep, and I found these old pages I did of
Is
his character
Troll?
Dutch. Well, this is Troll, and I also did. Oh, here we go. So this one I have is Dutch.
Oh, right on.
And this is hilarious, dude. This is so that's Chap Yep's original character. This is all Team Youngblood. It's Assault on Image Headquarters. And it's so stupid. I was trying to impress the editors by showing Image Headquarters. Look how detailed Image Headquarters is. This really bad perspective square. Cute.
No, dude, that's awesome. That's like up to par with anything you'd see today.
Yeah. But dude, check this out. If I go, wait, where is it? Oh yeah. So trying to impress, I fucking have the assault being guarded against by Jim Lee and Rob Liefelder in the war room.
Oh, wow,
both of
that's
them.
actually a pretty good Jim Lee.
Yeah, actually, it was and Rob. I kind of recognized him as soon as
Yeah,
I pulled the
yeah,
page
that's
out.
recognizable, dude.
Yeah, and they're in the back here, so
That's
Yeah,
that's not bad.
yeah. I showed it to Chap though, and he got a kick out of it. We were laughing at work.
No, I bet.
And I was like, if there's any good poses in here, I probably stole them directly from you, dude, because I couldn't draw. But so this is the thing. I also showed him these, which was these troll pages. So I can go a little higher. One sec here. So yeah, I had these troll pages that I did, and then another one I just ripped off a bunch of poses, and I was good at doing the beard stubble and the reflected goggles, and that's. But it turns out he was having that Jeff Matsuda created Troll, and
Yeah.
he was having dinner with Matsuda that night. So he brought these and showed these to Jeff.
Oh, yeah?
That night, and they got a good kick out of them. And Jeff was like, "Dude, send me those. Those are great." So I'm totally geeking out. Now it's just in good fun, for a good laugh. But,
Dude, I'd love to meet Matsuda. Oh, this stuff is pretty cool.
yeah. He doesn't work in comics or animation anymore. I think. I
No?
forget what exactly he's doing. I mean, he's doing something creative, and he's still doing well. He's just, something that makes more money now.
Yeah, yeah. It's fuck that sitting at the drawing table thing.
Yeah,
Like, why would I do that?
yeah. Same with, but yeah, even Chap, I was showing him some of the pages from the Punish comic, and he's like, "This is cool, man. It almost makes me it makes me almost miss drawing for fun." I was like, "Dude, start drawing for fun again."
Seriously.
I've been trying
Dude.
to talk him into doing
Holy.
an anthology. It's like, dude, let's just get an anthology with all the artists here at the office. All you have to do is 2 pages, and we'll put it together.
I firmly believe that if he put his name back out there, people would respond. There are
Oh, they
fans of that guy.
Dude, I
I
still
think so,
see
too.
him mentioned on comic book Reddit and all kinds of stuff. Still, yeah. And well, because they just did I forget who they were, but a couple pro guys, artist and writer, just put out a 4-issue reboot of Dutch himself. It's like a Dark Knight Returns version of Dutch when he's older. They just put it out late last year.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen
So,
it, but I heard about it. I want to get my hands on it.
yeah, it's cool. He gave me he had 2 copies of it at work and gave it to me, and I downloaded it. Or no, I actually found the other 2 issues at the comic store. Sorry, people are watching me adjust my camera. Let me put you back on here, Rob. There we go. All right. Back to you. Oh, by the way, I'll just go through it here real quick. Yeah, so this is come on. All right, so this is my fan art of yours, Rob. I still got to finish pulling that out for the first time in a couple months. And then we got Chuck working on Rob's page here. And then here's the actual pencil page that Rob's working on. So,
Yeah. Oh.
So it's an all Rob Saturday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, why is all my stuff on here?
Yeah.
Now I have like pressure to like be worthy of this.
Yeah, you've taken over the stream, man. Oh my god!
Why are you working on the page if I'm already inking it?
I'm not working on it. I just sat it out there because I saw you working on it.
I see.
Look, he can make changes and you can adapt, Chuck. Why you can?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good way to work, right? Oh, that page is cool. I hadn't seen that finished with him coming through the portal. What are you pointing at? Is it just your hair?
I don't know.
Rob?
It's his tail hanging between his legs,
that's
right?
Some fur. He's got a cowlick on his.
Right, yeah, that's what it was. Totally.
Oh man, that page turned out cool too. I haven't seen the finals of these. I saw you working on them on stream, but
yeah,
it's great. I like all
stalking the guy.
Jungle forest.
Right on.
Too.
Cool.
Oh yeah, the ladies.
Got to start getting these chicks into the story here in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I
oh my
need.
god, you've detailed out the severed.
I did.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
I love it. Did you do that off stream?
See,
I think I did.
Yeah.
see, and then when I get to it, dude, I'm gonna pull out my Faust stuff and go all 10 visual on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that Death of Superman stream you did, Rob, that art is like crazy. Speaking of
The Death of Power, that new issue.
I've never seen any of your other videos on that till that one. I gotta go back and watch it, but man, I was like, whoa, holy shit, man.
Oh, that guy, he's making some messed up comics, but he's legitimately hardcore talented.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. No one draws a better giant dick in the clouds coming through the afterlife to suck up the spirit of Wonder Woman better than him.
God, and the one where he's like, it's like stretches out and like goes inside her, and just
Yeah.
like, so detailed, but it's drawn so well.
Yeah,
I'm all
it's
in.
really good.
Yeah. Let's see, Count Chuck, you said Neil Adams ripped you. Wait, who said Neil Adams ripped us? That's Shocula. Count Shocula's here. What's up, dude?
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna go back here. I'll show this. I hope he doesn't mind. He's asleep right now to get his permission. But I got my. Oh, didn't I say that Neil Adams ripped me? I don't.
Maybe ripped you when he reviewed your work.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did. Yeah, for my samples. That's right. That's what he said.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. I think we talked about that a little bit on our last stream. Yeah, it was,
Right.
I might have mentioned it last, but he, yeah. Actually, I posted those Dutch pages, a couple of the pages with Rob in it, in Rob's Facebook group. Just Rob was in it and stuff, just to see what people would say. And people thought they were pretty good. Well, a couple people were like saying, "Man, your art's really good, dude." I was like, "Dude, these are from 30 years ago. They're not that good. Come on." But yeah, some people were asking what, because I mentioned that I brought those to San Diego that year, and that was actually the same year. I'm pretty sure that Neil tore me a new one, and they were asking what he said. And oh, you saw it on Shock. Okay, yeah, he saw my post on. You're in the Rob group, then, Shocula. You just revealed yourself. Yeah, he saw me commenting on that. He said basically all you're doing is jacking off Mitch, eventually you want to meet a real woman, but right now,
Yeah, someday,
yeah.
someday you'll be ready for a real woman.
Yeah. Then he, after looking at 3 of the 5 pages, he just threw them down and refused to look at any more. And then he pulled up a piece of scrap paper and was like, "All your faces are flat and have no 3 dimension." And he started showing how to draw a 3 dimensional face. But then the biggest disappointment is he just drew it on a torn piece of paper and then he sketched it out and then he wrinkled it up and threw it away afterwards. Like, I'm kind of like, dude, let me have that sketch paper.
Right.
If I said that to him, he'd be like, "You don't need this. You need to learn on your own." He probably would have lost his shit if I asked that. I didn't get a chance anyways, though. He tore it up. I was like, damn. That would have been so cool to have an old meal, especially now. God.
Well, see, and that's why he tore it up.
Yeah.
From what I understand, towards the end there, dude, he was charging like if you wanted the selfie with Neil Adams, it was going to cost you about $10.
Yeah.
Because at that point, dude, you're not, it's not like they're going to put you on the new hot title and you're going to sell millions of copies and get your royalty. Like, this is your bread and butter, man. When you go to these shows and these people come up to kiss the ring, that's when you get out your cash register and make your sale.
Yep. He earned it at that point, man.
I agree.
Yeah. I like what Byrne did, man. He didn't fuck around. He did that X-Men thing for years, and he made all his living off selling those original pages, man. And now I think it's gonna get printed by Marvel. I heard
That fan thing he was doing.
Yeah, the X-Men. I forget the name.
Elsewhen,
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I heard that somewhere. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's in discussions now, from what I understand.
Yeah, they've always tried to. I mean, they tried before to get him to do it and sell it to him, but I guess they didn't come correct with enough money or whatever. I don't know.
Yep. There we go. I've got you up. Full page.
I wonder if they're going to just leave it pencil or have somebody ink it or.
I know. I hate stuff that's just colored over pencils, but at the same time, I don't think they should be doing that with inks either.
Right.
It depends upon who they get to ink it.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a couple pages that Scott Williams did that I thought were superb, and I thought they were better than what was there in pencil. It all depends on what you're going to do. Now, if you're going to get some scrubs to ink it and pay them, shit rates.
Yeah.
Like knowing Marvel, dude, they'll probably be like, oh, you're lucky we're hiring inkers at all, and they'll pay scrub rates from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you'll get a scrub job from 30 years ago because, yeah.
Yeah, Shakula's saying get Austin to do it, which of course that would be the perfect one. But,
Dude, the last few times I saw Terry Austin ink John Byrne, I wish he hadn't.
Oh yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. You've said that before.
I hate to say it. Nobody's a bigger fan of Terry Austin than I am, dude. But the last couple times that I saw him ink him, there was a couple of issues of Walt Simonson's Orion that they took over for an issue where they were doing a backup on, and it was Byrne and Austin. And then there was some other job that I'm thinking of. Even the amalgam stuff, like the what if Stan Lee and John Byrne created Robin? They had Terry Austin ink that too, and that was around that time. And dude, it's gone. It doesn't work anymore.
Right.
The Terry Austin that you're getting now is not the Terry Austin that you were getting in 1982, and that's just all there is to it.
He lost his timber, but for inks.
I don't want to say that the guy can't ink. I certainly think he can ink still, and I've seen stuff that he's done with the style he's using now where it works, but not on Byrne.
What if they called you up, Chuck, and offered you that gig for good money?
That'd be tough though, because I bet the schedule would be tight.
That's my first worry about it are they going to give me enough time to, because we all know that I'm not exactly a fast inker by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
I'm not even going to pretend that I am. And it wouldn't be a situation where I would want to do a job where it's, it's gonna, that's gonna be a job that you're gonna be known by. They're gonna be talking like you like, oh, you got to do this over John Byrne and blah blah blah. Trust me, when they're writing the obit, they'll be mentioning it.
And they don't want to. You don't want it to read. This is the guy that fucked it up.
This is the guy that dragged it over the coals, right? It looked fun, and everybody knew it was fun, and it was in public for years, and everyone loved it until this guy came in and fucked it all up.
Chuck Gibson's big comeback to the industry.
That's it.
Biggest.
Yeah, little did we know it was a big comeback, like right in your fucking eye. Ah.
So not to derail here, but I'm gonna show this too, just so I can go back.
Oh, we wouldn't want to derail from that.
No, this is good stuff, man. But so I can turn off my camera and go to my digital screen. I mentioned it in the back room, but I don't know if I saw. So I found this old practice page, Rob, that I used to do for Chuck when he was teaching me and I was assisting him. Actually, let me add the stage here. There we go. Let's see if I can get it to go. There we go.
Making drills.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah!
But yeah, so for people that don't know or are maybe wanting to learn to ink, this is the kind of shit you should do to learn and practice and just learn control. And like basically the deal was with Chuck, I would go over after work, and I guess it was more usually closer to the weekend because we'd stay up late working through the night and stuff, and I would come over in the evening and we'd probably go smoke some bud for to start and to settle in, and then settle in for the night, and then before you'd even let me touch even just ruling lines in a background or anything, you'd make me fill up an entire page of bristleboard, both sides, with practice like this to warm up. And it was great, because, these are just, getting my lines even, which I don't know what stage this was at, because some of these are pretty bad. Some are alright, some there's getting to see some control. This is all crow quill, though. I don't think there's any brush on her.
So, Chuck, is that how you were kind of trained to do that? Is that why you had him do this? Is that what you were kind of?
I have hundreds of pages that look like that.
Yeah, I had dozens too. I think most of them I probably just left at Chuck's house when I'd leave, and they probably just got used as scrap paper or thrown away. Somehow this made it into my mix of pages in this old portfolio. I wish I had more. It'd be interesting to see like a progression over time.
I think sometimes I put more ink on pages like that than I did on the actual pages.
Yeah, I think a lot of them used to be like a side page that you'd use to like warm up the quill before you put it on the page to make sure it's not leaking and shit.
Well, because when you would get a quill, a quill has like a life cycle to it. When you pull it out, it's usually so sharp that it's starting to tear up your paper.
Right.
So you're not getting good lines with it that way. And then you finally scratch around with it enough to where it's filed some of that off, and then you start to get smoother lines with it. And then you get to the point where it gets a little flexed in, and you start getting really expressive stuff with it, and you're really starting to like what you get, and then the fucking thing breaks.
It does.
Yeah, I had these things. I was trying these little bloopy lines that were very image style at the time too. Like those little bloops and blops were really cool.
Yeah, I see you trying to get some Scott Williams wiggle in there.
Yeah. I did. It's not on here, but I used to do the curves too, where you do the arc line with the thick and thin, or like the thick in the middle, and come out of it again.
Yeah.
I used to do a ton of. There's a little bit right there, but I used to do just row after row of those. But if you look at the other side, oh yeah, here's some of it. These.
Oh, my hair, the hair and waves, and dude, if you look on my DeviantArt page, there's some inking drills, and I show those.
Yeah, those are invaluable though, man. Those actually, I still will do those now.
It looks awesome. It almost looks like tire tread there on the left.
Yeah.
Well, dude, like if you're trying to do like curly hair or like clouds or smoke or anything like that, you have to get used to being able to like do the one curve and then have it pointing at the next curve.
Yeah. Like
your eye fills in like the invisible connection there.
Yep. And sometimes you put a little dot in between the connecting lines there.
Yep.
Hello, Emmy. Welcome. But yeah, and like, if you guys out there are digital inkers too, this stuff still works for digital ink warm up because I'll still do this a lot of the time before I start for the day. I'll just open up a blank page and just start doing stuff like this down here just to warm up. It helps a lot. I did it last night for I streamed last night for about 2.5 hours, but I spent a half hour just making strokes beforehand.
Spend a half hour stroking.
Just stroking.
Hey, I told you before I go live, I gotta have a clear head, just like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You gotta have it, man.
Yeah.
I
It's
understand.
like going out on a date. You gotta clear your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll have it all backed up in there in your thoughts and stuff. You know?
Yeah. See, my tick marks are pretty shitty still here, but I thought these rocks actually looked pretty nice.
Those rocks are pretty good.
Yeah. I looked at these too, like this jagged, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty good too, but then when you really look at it, it's actually pretty sloppy. I'm missing the edges and the lines aren't. I mean, it's not the worst, but I definitely could do better. But
You'd be amazed at the things that people overlook. So I don't really anymore. If it looks good to my eye, and if it doesn't jump out to me, it's probably good enough. Nobody's going to pay attention, you know.
Yeah, I guess my goal for how the final look is always, will the pros look at it and like it rather than random fans, which I'm sure we all do. You know, it's like I want the pros, my fellow pros to be impressed. You know, that's what really means something. I still use this technique for rocks and shit too. Like even now, I did these illustrations for a sci-fi novel a couple years back, and it had all this sort of jungle and asteroids and stuff like that, and I used this shit like constantly throughout the whole thing. Well, yeah, this is pretty neat to stare at, though. I wish I had more. I'm working on my signature. Look how amazing those signatures could be. It looks like I'm in high school drawing like Cinderella, the Cinderella logo and like Motley Crue and stuff.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Remember Striper? Oh yeah, and this thing too. This was a practice inking page I did on some vellum, and this was actually a page that Chuck inked, and he had a Xerox of the pencils there that I just put some vellum over to work on these.
Yeah, that's that Gen 13 Brady Bunch cover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love this little mouse guy. He was cool. So yeah, I think I inked these after I was like, probably after I finished that entire 2 pages of warming up.
See, it's so trippy looking at that kind of thing and thinking about that time now, because like at the time it was just like they needed somebody to ink that cover, and I was available and trying to fill in wherever I could just to make a good impression with the editor, you know, trying to appear useful. So I asked for it, and I took cover, and I thought I did a pretty good job on the cover, and so did Campbell. But if I had known then, I would have taken a lot more time on it. If I had known then how few times I was going to get to ink that guy.
Yeah. True.
Right.
And also too, like in the large scheme of things, how few times that anybody was going to get to ink that guy, because pretty much after Danger Girl, shortly after Danger Girl, he started going to inking his own stuff and digital work, and you don't see other people inking his stuff for a lot after that.
Yeah, now it's just pinups and shit too, so you can just think of himself. Like, when's the last time you did any interior pages? It's kind of a bummer.
Spawn 300, as far as I know.
Oh, did he do some interior pages in there?
Oh yeah,
like,
he's got some,
it was inked by McFarlane.
by McFarlane, yeah.
I haven't seen those. I'd like to see it though.
Dude, it's awesome. It looks really nice. And I saw too, like some behind the scenes kind of film footage or something where McFarlane was carrying it around from place to place and inking like in the backs of cars and crap like he does.
Oh, well, because he inks all digital now.
Not always. That's what I'm saying. Is like he was actually taking blue line pages and inking with markers on these.
Oh shit.
I bet if I know Campbell, dude, if I was going to speculate, just spitting in the wind, Campbell's a fan, okay? And he was a fan of McFarlane before he got into comics and everything else.
Yeah.
I bet you that was part of the deal. Like, I'll do some of these pages out of this issue 300, but I want to do it on the board so that when that artwork comes back, I've got Todd McFarlane artwork.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be my move. That would absolutely be my move. Like, oh yeah, it's fine, but we got to do it on the boards, man.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. What are you drawing there, Rob? Or is that a sword?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't appreciate your wild accusations of it's something weird.
That's a cave entrance.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yes.
clearly.
With a boulder over the top.
Two
Be
boulders,
careful.
one on each side.
Yeah.
Right. It's a cave.
It's
a
biblical.
path.
It's like biblical, right?
Yeah.
Like we got to move the stone in front of the cave hole.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a religious artifact in between
That's
the two
right.
boulders on that right panel, for sure.
It's a sacrilegious artifact.
Yeah. It's a magic bean. I was watching.
That's
Netflix.
right.
They had that Jack the Giant Killer, that really cheesy movie they made about Jack and the Beanstalk a few years ago, and the beans in it were these sacred religious relics in that story. So that's what it is. It's a bean. It's a big bean.
Ray Dillon's asking what we're drawing here over on my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cave entrance, Ray.
That's what Rob's whole comic is. It's about a sacred cave.
That's right.
Exploring the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here looking at the comments on my channel because I don't know if they're different than the one on the other one or not.
Yeah, I've been trying to pop them up on the screen too, so other people can see them. Like sharp.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Ray's on there too, so I don't have to be looking at two windows at once. That's cool.
Yeah, it puts a little icon on it if it's from one of your guys' streams, so I've been popping it on so you can all see it.
All right.
Ray's like, don't put me on screen next to that. I'm leaving you up permanently now, Ray. Could you zoom in on the sacred relic, Rob?
All right. I'm gonna screenshot that and pin that comment.
Yeah.
For Ray.
Yeah. Let me enlarge Ray's icon here.
There you go. No, it's on the Street for Prosperity. There.
Sharpness just came in. He's like, what
the hell? My God, you guys are crazy. Yeah.
Alright,
I'm just looking at what Rob's drawing.
Yeah.
That's a microphone between them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're doing an interview. Well, see, here in this panel, she's just hanging it up. She's holding it up and she's slapping at it.
Oh, yeah. She's trying to connect the wire.
Slapping it around. She's like, this is so gross. And then, well.
It's a floppy microphone.
Yeah. They're going to do an interview.
Yeah.
Speak into it.
Real nice.
I just saw a video the other day. They have these new axes that people use. They're floppy axes. Like when they swing it back, the handle bends like rubber. But it makes it have more momentum when it swings forward, so it gets a deeper cut. So
I bet.
it could be like that. But a microphone.
I don't know what you were talking about, but it turned me on. Same one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Phallic objects.
Swings back with more force.
A tree, hello. Boy, people coming in out of context here. Ray Dillon's like, no.
Coming in out of
Except for Darth
context.
Vader, no. Coming in, yeah. Jesus Christ.
We're a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Like, adolescents over 40.
Right.
I wonder if I should. So, I have. Let's see, hang on. Back on here. So I have this page of your character, Rob.
Yep.
And he's squirting this heart thing, and he has these intestines and a stomach like on his claws. I wonder if I should work in a religious artifact.
Hey. You go as nuts as you want to.
No pun intended.
God, it's just endless.
It just won't stop coming.
Yeah. Here, let me just draw on a microphone here. This is a microphone. You draw the screen on the mic. There we go. There. Done. I was saying, we were talking a little bit about the that double page spread, Chuck. How did it?
Oh.
Did you, how much time did you take off after you delivered that?
Oh God, I still haven't put in like a full day. I was still like, oh my God, I'm just like, I don't want to ink anything.
Yeah.
I did do several days worth of drawing in my sketchbook because I was itching to sketch that whole time. But I've been real relieved to get back to Rob's stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's a little looser and I can interpret a little more. You know, don't get me wrong, it's fun inking Isaac's stuff from a technical standpoint. I knew exactly what to do and where to do it and how to do it, but there wasn't much in the way of second guessing. Like, you know, like, okay, I know exactly what he's looking for,
Right.
and I know exactly how to go with that and enhance it too. You know.
Yeah, with you and Rob, it's a bit more of a collab.
I think so. Yeah, it's not exactly Rob, but it's not exactly me when I get finished. So, and that's kind of what I dig about it.
Yeah. And it's just a couple of characters in a panel or a single character instead of 17 characters with a
Right.
background on a two-page
Yeah,
spread.
you know, when I got into that, I just was not thinking about how many characters that was. Obviously, I just looked at it and it impressed me as a piece so much that I stupidly opened my mouth and went, you know, and I didn't have to do the digital cross hatching and stuff in there. I didn't have to go as elaborate on that as I did. I could have just inked it as is. It would have been fine. But I had this idea and I did it. And, you know, once you do it in one spot, now I got to do it everywhere. You know,
Once you've committed to it.
yeah, sort of. Yeah. Like once you committed to it in one spot, it's, well, like, look, it's like, okay, for instance, we've got this panel here with this guy with this one little glass. If all I did was tone inside the eyeglass to show the reflection or something, and I didn't do tone anywhere else on the page, it's gonna look weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna look weird. So at a certain point, if you do a certain amount of it, well, now you've made a commitment. You're gonna have to do it everywhere, or it's gonna look weird that you didn't.
Yeah. It's like cleaning a dirty face. You get one clean spot, you gotta clean the whole thing.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. You made a clean spot. Now you got to do the whole thing, man. Just like aliens.
I was going to say, I know that line.
Yeah.
Just like aliens.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. Nerd reference. Nerd alert.
Yeah. That movie still holds up. I still like that movie.
Oh, I can watch it anytime. It still feels modern.
There's like a couple of places where you could update the special effects just a little bit. But really, aside from that, I think you release that movie today and it stands up.
Right, totally. Yeah.
Easily.
And we'd all be just going gaga over this giant monster, the alien queen. And it's like, that's a real practical puppet. There's no CGI there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, see, and
it's all miniatures and practical, man. It's great.
That's another thing I was going to say too, man, is they've been trying to sell us on this CGI thing being as good as the old practical effects since T2. All right. And I'm here to tell you, you're full of shit. It still doesn't look good. Is it like you still cannot do computer blood the way those guys could do it with the old squibs under the shirt shit like they used to? All right. You still, somebody gets shot. It still looks weird when they get their arm cut off because you guys aren't using any kind of practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
just get, you keep saying, "Oh, it's better than ever," and blah blah blah. Like, no, it's not,
Well,
Remember that scene from RoboCop?
dude.
what,
To
the
me,
melty guy? Are you talking about the melty guy that splats, or
No, the guy in the boardroom where they bring in Ed 209 and to do a test on him.
oh
It's like,
yeah,
you have 10 seconds to comply, and he just
Duh.
unloads 1,000 rounds into his body, and a million squibs are going off.
right. You've got, to me, the one that's the ultimate one is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Like anything you could do with practical effects, they pretty much covered it in that movie.
Yep. Man, that movie is still so good.
You know what I need to send you guys? So you know the scene in RoboCop where he's out doing his first missions, and there's the two guys attacking the lady in the alleyway, and then he shoots between her legs and shoots the guy in the balls.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the fan-made kind of expanded version of that?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, it's the
Oh.
greatest thing ever. They just recreate the entire scene, a guy in a full RoboCop uniform, but a bunch of more bad guys keep showing up, and so RoboCop just keeps shooting everybody in the dicks nonstop, like dozens and dozens, and they show prosthetic dicks getting exploded.
Nice.
It's I'll send you a link to it from
I
somewhere.
have to see this now.
And then it ends with like the boss of all the bad guys. He's standing there with his pants down in his dick, pointing at RoboCop. It's the greatest thing ever. So
That's awesome.
Coming to a theater near you.
yeah, bring a towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
I'm gonna go get high now.
I'm just gonna get a little high.
Yeah. I got no idea what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
How, Kyle? Count Chocula is saying he watched the old thing and the prequel recently. I actually watched those recently too. I watched the thing at least once a year, and I like the prequel a lot too.
I watch my thing once in a year too.
Yeah. You watch your thing or wash it?
That both.
Okay. You should probably wash it more than once a year for the sake of your loved ones, but for the and the
That's
smell of the house.
that's a chick problem, man.
Why does the house smell cheesy? That's what Rob said last time he visited Joe. I was talking with actually with Shakila last night, talking about like when I finish this comic, I kind of want to print it and maybe try to go to some cons and try to sell it or something. Just get a little booth. And since my wife's a flight attendant, I can actually fly for free. So I was like, man, I'll just put some books in a suitcase and I can fly to some cons for free and sell it. But I was like, dude, if I can come out to some New Mexico con and go out to a Utah con or something. You're in Utah, right, Rob?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Just do like a Utah con or something. You know, we could like team up and get a table or something. I don't know, it'd be cool.
There you go.
Chocula, you're in Ohio, I think, right? I think he's in Ohio.
It's the doxing stream.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, Rob, your exact address is but it'll be kind of so
Is not hard to find.
yeah. Ohio's not that big, and Utah isn't either. So. Which canyon are you in Utah? But the Rob, you know him because you were showing his bootleg Spider-Man. But that guy Marty Keene,
Right.
I like his method. It's so inspiring. Like that dude had never drawn a comic or done anything involved with comics just 3 years ago, like in late 2020.
Oh,
and
wow.
Now he has his own label and is making a living doing comics full time and publishes several comics a month now. And he did it all just printing small print runs of like his bootleg Spider-Man and his other ones, and selling them at like cons and like going to comic shops and selling them off his website too. And he's done bootleg Spider-Man, he did the Martin Man, and then he has another like series he's done like 6 episodes, and he's also writing other comics that other artists have drawn. Like it's crazy how much he's done just in 3 years, and it's kind of like, man, I just want to do
If
something
you're
like that.
motivated and you get a hold of an audience and you're willing to really work it and exploit it, you could do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The old days, it was like, okay, well, printing was a barrier. Well, you don't have to print anymore. You can go digital and get your stuff out there. So that's not a barrier anymore. Well, where are you going to get it out to? You're still going to need like distributors to get this to the comic shops, and like, no, you don't have to do any of that anymore. So, like, realistically, if we'd had the parameters involved uh, that are in play today, when I was a kid coming up trying to get in the industry, I probably wouldn't have made any kind of play for the mainstream industry at all. You think about how the life cycle used to be. It used to be you would work at Marvel or DC. You do the Frank Miller plan, right? You work at Marvel or DC until you get enough juice going on and enough of an audience that you can make that jump to doing your own thing, your own book, your own way, with your own editorial control. This was the dream of the comic book creator.
Right.
Okay. Well, now none of that shit is in play. You don't have to ask anybody's permission. The only thing they can do is deplatform you. Yeah, they can do that, but there's so many platforms you can jump to now. You're going to find a way to get what you want to get out there if you're determined and you're willing to do the work.
Right.
Well, the thing I like about his too is like he didn't. It wasn't just another story of like, well, just get good at your social media presence. You can be successful, which doesn't always work either, especially if you don't have time to post on a daily basis. But he did it all without digital. His is all practical. I mean, he has online ways to like follow up. Like once he makes a connection, then they can go to his site and keep ordering and stuff. But it's all like print stuff. It's not like his webcomic got popular or something. And
Right.
then you're worrying about like the fucking Instagram algorithms fucking you over,
Right.
or like people reporting your page and you getting like demonetized, or your page getting canceled out of nowhere and them holding your money at PayPal and shit like that, which happens all the time. So it's almost like the digital is actually helping him in those ways, but he's not locked to it either. So he can't get screwed over like that. He kind of controls it all, which is nice. Because he even has like a wholesale thing set up on his page now, so that people can follow up or get referred to him to go and buy some for their shop wholesale. It's nuts. I mean, it definitely requires some beating the pavement, but yeah, it's nice.
I just like seeing that there's a audience for this stuff.
Yeah. It seems to be growing too. People are really turning on the big companies, which I'm kind of glad. Like, just it's all just so boring now. Like the art and the stories are just. It's like Marvel is like Disney now, so everything's freaking safe. There's no innovation. Paul Samedi has his own label. He makes somewhat of a living doing his own label, Alterna Comics. I was on his YouTube channel. Shocula said that. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check out his stuff too. I'm not familiar with him. Pete Samedi.
He's been labeled as Comics Gate by some people. I've
Really?
ordered some of his comics before. I don't see anything controversial about his books. He doesn't post about any kind of politics or anything like that. I think it's just one of those things where people just sort of decided, because he was one of the players early on.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of guys that label themselves as Comicsgate, which I don't know why, and they don't really do anything except just talk comics and make comics. I don't even know why they have to align themselves with some sort of like extremist group. It's like,
I think at first they saw like an idea for a sales boost. I mean, those guys were moving a lot of comics at one point.
Yeah. But because there's some guys I've seen too who are supposedly Comicsgate, but they don't really have anything connection to it other than them being listed on the page. But then there's other guys I've found like who were listed as Comicsgate. Their comics cool and kind of normal, and they seem like normal guys. But then you go and search their name, and you find some like completely racist or misogynistic rant on X or something, on Twitter, some shit. And you're like, oh fuck, it's like, damn it, screw this guy. Oh yeah. Speaking of those rants, Van Cyber. Yeah, no, I won't go there. But it wasn't Ethan Van Cyber that I found, but it was a guy that was aligned with Ethan Van Cyber. It was I don't want to advertise his name by saying that, but yeah, he had this blog. I found there was a Kickstarter, or I was an Indiegogo book I did that had really cool art, and I was really excited to get it. And about a week before it was going to ship, I was looking up. I wanted to see more of his art online, and I found his blog, and it was just page after page after page of just like he was taking the comics angle, complaining about like diversity stuff in Marvel sort of ruining the stories, which surface level, that's fine if that's your opinion, but he would take it a step farther and just go on these really hardcore racist rants about it too. And I'm just like, and then he got into like all this homophobic stuff, and it was just like, it wasn't subtle at all either. You know?
Well, yeah, I think that's what you're going to get with pretty much any kind of movement over the course of time. You like the original idea always seems to get a little lost.
Right.
Okay, you get some people that are real conservative about how their views and this and that, and then you got people that really want to take it like all the way and further. Okay, just as like an in your face sort of thing to the other side, or what? It just gets crazy. It's like, dude, like look, you can have your beliefs or whatever, but you don't have to be a freak about it. You know, like
The thing that drives me nuts is all those fuckers act like the victims, and like none of them are victims. They're all fucking selling like hotcakes, way better than they ever would have done working for the people they're supposedly rebelling against. You know.
I don't know. I think that's part of their sales pitch, though.
Oh, it totally is. But
you know, like like some of that, a lot of that stuff, I just like right off as like that's just shtick.
Yeah.
You know, you're just doing that to move books.
Oh, it totally is, but I don't like that either. That's I don't like
Hey,
selling stuff based on hate.
I don't know what they're selling books on based on. I don't worry about it either.
No, I just stay away. But
I'm too busy dealing with my own shit.
Right.
I honestly like I'm working on what I'm working on. I could barely pay attention to anything anybody else is working on. And if I do, it's probably because I personally think it's pretty extraordinary, and it doesn't have anything to do with the person's political views or whatever. Like, dude, you can be eating babies in your spare time for all I know, because I'm not up your ass with both this. You know, I'm just like whatever. I'm just reading your comic book, dude. Wasn't proposing marriage. I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody gets so like, crazy. It's just a comic book.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, why do you have to align with a group for any of that stuff? Yeah, it's like just hang out with your art friends and make comics. You know,
at this point, dude, I don't see any sense in aligning with anybody, because it seems like if they haven't run afoul of the masses this week or yet, they will next week.
Right.
So, like, just like, look. Politics and all that shit aside, your politics has nothing to do with the quality of your book whatsoever. Why not focus on that?
Yeah. Well,
and that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and like, okay, so a lot of the shit is complaining about all the diversity and the gay stuff that they don't like, and all the gender swapping of characters at the big two. It's like, well, that shit's all boring. Like, who cares? Why do you even have to like make statements about it? Just go do your own comic then, especially nowadays. It's like, that's how you protest. Just go make your own art, you know? You don't have to like grandstand about it and try to bring people down. Just make your own comic. There's plenty of options, you know?
No. That's
better. It's way better than working for them anyway. Like, you're upset about them, the comics they're making, but yet if they hired you to do what you want to do with the comics, you're going to be overworked and way underpaid, and it's going to suck anyway. So who cares? Who even cares? You know?
Well, again, I think a lot of that is grandstanding just for the sake of shtick.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Those guys are probably all doing way better, doing their own thing, no matter how it's doing, than they ever would with the quote unquote big two. Like that almost. I almost laugh when I say that phrase now.
Yeah. It's funny. There's at the comic. I go to this comic book store in Pasadena called Comics and Collectibles, and there's actually a lot of pros that come in there, and the owner's sort of friends with a lot of old Image guys and stuff. But I've overheard two of them but I know there's at least 4 artists that go in there that do DC covers on a regular basis. And 2 of them are these women I've overheard talking to them up front. And whenever they're in there, all they do is complain about the deadlines and the money. Like for covers, the pay is shit, and the deadlines are always ridiculous. Like literally 24 hours turnaround a lot of the time for like a full color cover. And they never catch a break, you know. They're just like, but you know, it's their only income, so they kind of got to suck it up, which is just.
Well, that's really where the problem is, you know.
Yeah. I love. There's just like this big indie movement that's happening right now, and I'm all for it. I mean, yeah, like those companies are causing all this. You know, they treating everyone like shit, paying like shit. Even the Rob thing, you know, like. Rob Liefeld had a good point. Like, they still can't even bother to credit an artist properly, much less pay them, you know?
Yeah, I kind of agreed with him on his rant about that. He should have been in the theater and saw his name up on the big screen. Like, Deadpool created by... I feel like he should have got credit on that.
Yeah, and they still can't even do it in the comics, man. They still, like I still see comics in the store all the time that don't even have credits anywhere in the book. It might have 3 names on the cover, but it won't say who did what. So if it's a new artist, you don't even know what they did, and there's no credits on the inside, or they'll just credit the writer or the creator or something. It's insane. So yeah, right. So yeah, actually, Rob didn't get front billing, but he got end billing. But it was paired with Roy Thomas, which was definitely fucked up because Roy Thomas only did it after. Was it Len Wein died? Because Len Wein was actually, is that who was the co-creator?
Yeah.
He waited till he died to finally make a fuss about it. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay quiet about Roy Thomas.
There's a lot of pros that are kind of opening up about that now. So you know,
I'm just gonna stay quiet about Roy Thomas.
Yeah. Have you met him?
No, I haven't met him, and I don't have any experience with Roy Thomas, and that's partially why I'm going to shut my mouth, because all I've got is an uninformed opinion, and that's not usually good to throw around.
Yeah, especially on the permanent record right now. Especially after you get hired to, when you're more in the spotlight after you inked Everyone by John Byrne.
They're not going to hire me to do that. I'd be too much of a pain in the ass. They wouldn't want me.
Joking from earlier when we're like, that's what you'll be remembered for.
Well, and that's like, dude, I've seen that stuff too. Okay, and it would not be easy to ink. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Like if you're used to seeing what Byrne used to do, and then you see that.
You be doing a lot of correcting and stuff.
Well, look, obviously, as a fan and as a fan of that old work, the temptation's going to be there to crank it back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why someone's not familiar with his old stuff, because the temptation would be too much to go back to that.
Yeah, you see, like if you could find an inker that had this stuff these days that could go in and look at it with fresh eyes and just interpret what it is that he's put down, yeah, you might have something. But for me, the temptation is going to be to bring it back to something that that I probably wouldn't do a very good job of bringing it back to. And even if I did, Byrne wouldn't be happy with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that in addition, like, God, he would probably have... He's probably going to be so picky and, like, a pain in the ass about it.
Well, I don't know whether he's going to be picky or not, but you can count on he's probably not going to like it. The last guy that I heard of that he did like his inks that he commented on was Trevor Scott, who did a really super sweet job of inking his stuff over on the Atom with Gail Simone.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard Trevor Scott's name in a long time.
There was a couple of issues in there that he did where Trevor Scott inked his stuff, and Trevor knocked it out of the park, dude. I mean, Trevor did what Trevor does, and Yeah, I know Trevor's a fan of Burn too. So like one of those things where you waited all your life for a chance to take a crack at this guy, and then they give it to you, and Trevor knocked it out of the park. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So,
Jason, is that an ass?
This? No.
I just glanced up at it. I'm like, am I looking at an ass crack? Because I'm on board with it.
It could be, but no. This.
I got to step away from the keyboard for just a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. No, these are some wrapped around intestines that are. Let me bring in the blue light.
Yeah. For half a second, I was like, "Is that no?" And then I saw what it was. But
yeah,
I'm like,
zoomed in. This could be like the edge of the ass crack or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
There. Yeah. Nope, he's Kill Snap's wearing clothes in this one. He's turned around, so I can't give him plumber's crack or anything. I'm gonna put you back up here. That's the expression of your guy in the corner. Jerry Ordway inked a few Burn Fantastic Four issues back in the day. Phenomenal. Oh yeah. I mean Ordway. God, is Jerry Ordway still alive? Is he still doing stuff? Trying to draw some attacking vines right now. I need some 3D assets. Yeah. Do you know any 3D software, Shakila? You could kind of do it somewhat easily if you know it, but if you don't know 3D software, it's certainly not easy. I could do it easy.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to get some more water.
Oh, Jesus. Finally.
Right.
I'm going to get my phone still on. Yeah. I'm going to real quick.
Where did my special glove go?
So you've seen these, Rob, but I don't know if you've seen Chuck, but these are that guy, Marty Keene, who I've been talking about. He does the bootleg Spider-Man, and the Martin Man is his new Wolverine one he did. But another thing I like about his comics is, like, inside they're, like, printed on newsprint. I don't know where he found newsprint, because from what I understood, a lot of American printers don't even have you set up to print on newsprint anymore. It's like a whole separate process, but I don't know. Maybe it's just made to look this way. But it even feels like newsprint. But he prints it in a smaller format like this, too. Like, if I grab a regular comic size, this is a trade paperback, but to compare the size, you can kind of see here. But I kind of like this little miniature size, and it's actually a lot cheaper to print. I would love to print Punish like in a format like this, and these are probably similar amount of pages. I think they're like 35 to 40 pages or something.
Yeah.
But I would love to do that. I don't know. He's definitely an inspiration for me right now for how to go forward with this.
I don't know, man. Once I saw what like Rob turned me on to the printer that he was dealing with, and I started looking at their prices. You can put yourself together a really nice professional-looking package for really cheap these days.
Yeah, I'm worried though, man. By the time it's done, I'm not sure how. Yeah, not to get on that shit again, but like all the tariffs and everything, like. You know, there's a lot of like American printers, but all the American printers get all their paper from fucking China and Thailand and shit. So like, you're still paying import tariffs and everything more than double in price. And I'm just kind of like, fuck, man. I'm not. You know, you could print like a $6 book and ship it for $5, but now it's gonna end up being a fucking $14 book and shipping for $12. You know, and it's just like it's not even feasible at that point.
I don't have a book yet. I don't worry about it until then.
Yeah, I'm trying not to because I don't have a book yet either. I want to try to finish this by the fall, but you know, just kind of planning ahead a little bit. Just
let me show you
trips and stuff.
Can I show you this thing that I just got from this new book I just got?
Yeah, you're full. Oh wait, no, that's Chuck. Let me put you full screen.
These guys, Cosmic Lion Productions, they do these Ghost Agents books, and I've put up 3 of them on the channel before. But they print theirs on newsprint, and you know, I'm all for like the nice glossy paper and the nice kind of, you know, coloring you can get. But there's something that this newsprint look, kind of like you were saying with that other book with the newsprint and the feel, that there's just a look to this that I really like. the way
Yeah.
that the color absorbs onto the page.
Yeah, it's like that lo-fi feel. I love it.
Kinda, yeah. And they just lean hard into the newsprint thing. And I guess they I don't know if it's going to be feasible anymore, but they found the guy who makes these books. They looked around, and the cheapest option was to order them from someplace in China.
Yeah.
That was cheaper than anybody in the States. And so they're like, it took a little bit longer, but overall the cost was less and the result come out really good. So,
Well, see, that's the thing now. That was the case a few months ago, but as of now, currently,
yeah.
so there's a couple things going on that make it really expensive, and like actually a lot of people that have Kickstarters that wrapped up recently that won't print for a few months are freaking out because there is now, you could get a big discount printing in China, but then to get it imported, it's currently a 39% tariff on
Right.
stuff from China. Or if there's a slightly smaller tariff on Canada, there's some services that used to let you print stuff and ship it into Canada, and then they would drive it across the border in Canada and ship it from the US. It wasn't like a legal shady thing. It was a completely legal thing. It was basically, it wasn't to avoid tariffs. It was to have cheaper shipping. So
Right.
they would ship it to a town that's like, maybe 45 minutes from the border. Then they would drive to a town in the US on the border and ship it from there, and then they'd pay domestic shipping rates instead of international shipping rates. But now, if they search your packages and see that in there, that you sent something from China to Canada and then are bringing it to the US, now you'll get a 39% tariff on your shipment from China, as well as the Canadian tariff on top of that, before you even get it in the country. So it's just like, Jesus. There's a chance they might not inspect it, but there's a chance they will. But at that point, it's already too late, and you're already committed. So,
Right.
But yeah, because I mean that print run, that kind of reminds me of the printers that Mighty Keen uses too. There's like some guy in his town that prints it, and that do really good looking work like that, not too expensive. But I don't know. I hope it stays that way. I hope it's not as bad as I suspect. There's a I'm trying to find it here, and now I can't find it. The Jim Mahfood, he did his book recently, the Savage Street Vigilante Kickstarter, and it sold like gangbusters on his Kickstarter, and he printed that up on using Mixam Print, I believe is who he used, that online service, and they were pretty good too and affordable. But he was talking about how their prices are about to go way up as well. So I'm just like, God dang. I'm trying to find it now. But I have it. Oh, here's Primal Strike. Yeah. You guys heard of Primal Strike?
I've heard of it.
Has this really crazy cover by these two jokers. Chuck on it. Yeah, let me.
Flip it over there.
I'm gonna switch to my camera real quick. Yeah, it's there we go. So yeah, here's Shocula's comic with your guys' cover again.
Yeah. That looks familiar.
Yep. Heck yeah.
After I finish your dude, Rob, I think I'm gonna do a fan art of one of these guys.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of the cowgirl frog.
Oh yeah, there you go.
What the hell's the character's name? Oh my god, it's Annie Croakley.
Oh, Annie Croakley.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, I like the metal lion guy. I was thinking about doing him.
Yeah, that's a badass design. Yeah, for sure.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, a lot of textures and weird designs.
He was up watching my stream at like 4:30 in the morning last night, working on the cover for issue 2. I was like, dude, go to bed. He's like, oh, it's too late to go to bed now. Welcome, the Montoya 76. But here is, do you guys know Jim Mahfood?
I know his name. Yeah, I've seen his stuff.
He's a pretty big time comics guy, and he just did this. It's kind of like my Punisher thing. It's like a parody on Batman called Savage Street Vigilante, and he printed this up recently, and his style is freaking wild, man. Mike Huddleston did this alt cover for it too, which I don't know if you can tell. I love Huddleston's artwork, and I hate stuff that's printed from pencils, but this actually is colored and printed from pencils, and it looks really nice.
It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool cover. So, but this is what the interior looks like here. So it's a bit thicker paper and stuff, but I don't know if he colored it. He uses a lot of tone and stuff too, so maybe it just kind of makes it look this way. But it feels like a newsprint comic to me, and looks like it. So, but it's a nice paper, but it was affordable too for his Kickstarter. So,
Yeah, it looks good.
yeah, it's a really nice book, and it's actually solid cover too. It's like kind of thick. I would almost be into it being a little bit more flimsy, like Matty Keene's books. These ones, they're almost, because one thing Matty was talking about too is he's
Hey, Kevin Ball.
yeah.
What's going on, man?
But Marty was saying he wants his books to feel like old-fashioned books, where like he doesn't want it to be this sort of prestigious, precious thing that you collect and put away. He wants it to feel like you just tear through it and roll it up and put it in your pocket, So he wants the size and the feel of it all to be floppy like that. Which that's kind of more my angle. So.
Yeah, I've had some people tell me that occasional person here or there, when they watch my videos and watch the way I kind of manhandle my comics, they're like, dude, you're destroying them. I'm like, look, I take care of them. Like, I don't rip them or shred them or tear them or let them get wet if I can avoid it. But I'm like, these are physical things to open and read and enjoy. So I'm not like being hyper precious with it. Unless somebody handed me an original, beautiful copy of some ancient book. Obviously, that's different. But I'm not being precious with my copy of Stormwatch 22. I don't give a shit. I'm just.
You know what though? If somebody handed me some precious book though, I'm gonna put it in Mylar and go put it down in the post office box. I'm gonna put it down a safe deposit box rather.
Yeah, with something like that's got actual value, but
right.
Just this slew of 10,000 books that I've got that I collected in the 90s and 2000s. I'm not like concerned that I'm kind of flipping it around when I'm flipping through it on my channel or when I'm reading it.
Marty had a good point too that actually made me want to loosen up my artwork and not be so detailed too. Is like, I forget who told him, some other old school coach taught him like, the page is meant to be turned to keep the continuous story going. You're not supposed to be there obsessing over each panel and each detail and stuff. It's more like you got to keep the story moving, which is sort of like the Frank Miller approach too, even though his stuff is detailed and crazy, but it's definitely laid out that way. Luke Loden, hello. Kevin Ball, you ruined my copy of the Necronomicon with your damn Cheeto fingers. Now 1,000 years of darkness will plague us all. Latu Verata.
He's like, okay then. All right.
By the way,
that's it.
I have a question for you guys. I was just talking with my wife about this. Let me see if I can. Hang on. So, Army of Darkness. What do you remember as the ending of Army of Darkness? Like you first.
Well, I know there's two.
Yeah,
I know there's a theatrical version, then a separate one.
Yeah, so which one have you seen?
I've seen both.
Oh, okay. Have you seen them both, Chuck?
It's been so long, I don't remember either ending.
Yeah. My wife was just sent me this text from Reddit, but we were talking about it, and she was like, someone said, Army of Darkness originally ended with Ash sleeping too long and waking up after an apocalypse.
Yep.
Executives made Raimi change it, so we get that final action scene and one of Ash's signature lines, "Hail to the King, baby." And then someone replied, said, wait a minute, I always saw the Apocalypse version. And that's the thing. So my wife only knows the Apocalypse version, which is kind of dark. But I don't know that version. I only know the one where he teleports back to the hardware store where he's working, and then the demon lady comes up and he shoots her and goes, "Hail to the King."
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the one. But my wife has no idea what that is. She's never heard of it. She's only seen the Apocalypse version, and I haven't seen that one. I'd heard there was a second ending, but I haven't seen it. So
yeah, the regular version where he just goes back to the hardware store. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and then
Yeah.
I think I got it on or watched it on DVD years later, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Hey, before we get too far along, I did dig out my my bullshit
Oh yeah.
quote unquote samples.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me move this out of the way.
Yeah, so that said, I actually went and downloaded a couple different cuts of it, so we're gonna have a watch party tonight.
Nice.
Different endings, so it'll be fun. I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
All right, I don't want you guys to be jealous of my beautiful samples. Look at how good my original samples are. Look at that.
Dude, I'm sorry, but those aren't that good.
Oh wait.
You should feel embarrassed about showing that.
What?
That sucks.
No, not those.
You fucking troll. Those are actually. Where'd you get those?
So I just been on a big Silvestri kick, so I went online and just found some high resolution images, then took them saved them on a jump drive, went to FedEx and just had them print them out just so I could have full 11 by 17 size.
I kind of want to do that. Would you mind sharing those with me?
I
look great.
think I have I might have deleted the files after I printed them because I'm like, I don't need them anymore, but I will look. I just searched I did a Google search and found the highest resolution ones I could find.
Okay, maybe Heritage Auctions tends to have them.
Yeah, that. And
You
then
know, there's a series of books that Top Cow printed in black and white called Top Cow Classics in black and white, and they've got the first issue of Fathom, the first issue of what's that one, The Darkness, and the David Finch one that he was doing around that time, the Aphrodite
9, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Fathom one.
Yeah, I just recently got the Michael Turner Kickstarter, Art of Michael Turner. That has got pencils in it. I just want that Silvestri stuff, though.
I want a damn Silvestri artist edition of his Wolverine and X-Men era.
Yeah, all that fucking black and white Silvestri stuff. Oh, here, dude. Did everybody do Cyberforce for their early samples?
Right.
Dude, I found there's a Cyberforce character in almost every sample I did. Even my troll one, I put Ripclaw in there.
Yeah, I don't know what made me choose it. I think I was just, again, so I made these back when I was in high school, or just barely thereafter. I don't ever date anything, but I'm pretty sure I did this in high school.
Yeah, mine had a date on the top of 1993, so I was 19 at the time. I graduated when I was 17 in 92. So.
Yeah. So I was like, I think I was doing this because Top Cow put out that the call for submissions.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you want to work for Top Cow? So I put these together, and it's the only time I've ever drawn something that I actually did send in, and you know, I can tell looking at these being 30 years old, I was really trying, but I was also copying some like tree design patterns from, I think, Adam Hughes in the X-Men Wildcats crossover that he did. But I was trying to be Silvestri and Adam Hughes at the same time, which doesn't happen.
You got some nice blacks, though, actually. Your spotting of blacks is pretty nice.
This girl, this phase, I actually had a reference of something. Everything else, I was just kind of pulling out of my ass. And, you know, on the first page, I was kind of feeling excited for it. It's basically like stupid Psyblade and stupid Heatwave in a forest, because I couldn't draw a city scene in proper perspective. So I'm like, let's put it with a bunch of trees.
Dude,
you
that
know,
Heatwave face in the middle up top is good, man.
It's
Did you feel that? most of my good poses and faces were only good because they were direct steals from people.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember I must have had some kind of something to kind of guide me on that a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, they're in a forest, and then Ripclaw has he's been he's turned evil for some reason, so he's going to attack him. So we get this shot of him down here. He just shows up, and then so they turn and look, and then I stopped inking them. I think I just sent them as pencils, and then I started inking them later just for my own fun. So shot of Ripclaw in the tree,
That's probably better
So,
off. They used to frown on people inking their own samples back in the day.
right. So then Heatwave powers up his energy fist, like telling Cyblade to get back. So then,
Poor Slyblade just being a damsel in distress.
right, yeah, she can't, do anything to protect herself. So
Yeah.
energy
Such a
blast,
misogynist,
his
I swear.
Ripclaw dives out of the way, comes at him, and then slashes his guts out.
Oh, nice.
And then I started losing my.
That smile on Ripclaw is great.
He's like, I ripped it, and I kind of lost my momentum with this thing here. I don't know. I just never finished it.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, so Heatwave's down. And so then next one, I completely ripped off this face from an Adam Hughes drawing.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
And then just Ripclaw standing there. And there's some dialogue. They have some words between them. So she charges up her energy fist and, they're going to fight. And that's as far as I went. That's it.
These are pretty good, though, man. Like, if I had your samples next to my samples, I definitely would have hired you over mine, man.
I don't know about that.
You got, like, nice blacks and stuff, and the pages are composed, and, like, your proportions are actually decent.
See, how old were you when you did these, Rob?
18.
So that would have been about what year?
95.
Yeah, see, you could have been sitting in the studio next to Jason if you lived in Denver.
Yeah, can you imagine? Holy shit.
Oh, I think I tailored these to the only things I could kind of figure out. If you ask me to do something else requiring some other skill, I absolutely did not have it. But I mean, that's everybody, right? When you're a kid, but
oh, yeah, most of my samples were centered around reflective surfaces, and because I was really good at drawing stubble, like hair and stubble, and like reflective metal and glass. So I would just try to put that in everything.
But yeah, he asked me to draw like regular human beings and kids and cars on a city street with airplanes. I would have just died.
Yeah.
I still kind of want to die, but
Yeah.
I want to draw hot girls and monsters fighting each other and severed dicks, apparently.
Kevin's saying, hey man, ass pulls are sometimes pretty great. I'm sure many designs were now iconic were made that way, for sure. I like the panel border that shows the emotion of the panel. I never really consciously took note of those, but I'm sure it's common. Play the hits, man, Rob. That makes sense to do. Yeah, definitely. What is a comic focused entirely on reflective stubble? It's genius. That's right. That's what I was trying for. I was hoping to impress and distract. That's exactly the fantasy in my head, but of course, it's not reality. Especially when I'm the 47th person in the last 4 hours they've seen trying to do the same thing at Comic-Con waiting in line. Yeah, dude, that freaking Cyblade Silvestri there is...
Oh yeah, it's from the Cyblade She crossover.
Oh yeah, that book was so good.
That doesn't look like Sylvester to me.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I remember this book. It was cool. It was kind of when he was... It's like his transition from his old X-Men days to like his current Batman days.
Right.
Like that middle ground, the exact middle.
Like this figure of her right there.
Yeah.
I love that so much because it's got all the kind of like the super hot girl with the crazy hot bod and the muscular arms and the boobs and the hair and the ass. But man, he makes it look so good.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
It was such a weird contrast too, because they did Cyblade She and then She Cyblade, who was drawn by.
I think Tucci did it, right?
Yeah, who created She, and man, the styles do not gel.
No, they do not.
It was such nice.
This isn't like my favorite Silvestri face, but man, the inking on that by its Weems.
Yeah.
I just
Those
stare
lips,
at it.
Look at
And that
lip.
hair.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
See, and that's when you say stuff like that, and you try to pick my brain sometimes about how I handle this texture or that texture. I'm like, man, if I had a hold of you when you was 18, 19 years old, you'd have turned into an anchor.
Maybe that, I love inking. I find it very fun. I'm just,
Dude, just fill up 2 pages, 2 sides of a Bristol board before you start each day. Like we
There you
have to
go.
now,
Just like do like 1,000 pages like that, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to ink.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all.
Speaking of spotting blacks, right there, Rob, on that last page, Rob.
Let's see.
It's
Dude.
the non-crotch shot crotch
Yeah.
shot.
See, there's the butt shot. See, that's what I thought I was seeing on your page there a bit ago.
Oh,
Your guy
yeah,
with the
yeah.
intestines. I thought I was seeing something like that, which
Yeah.
I'm fine with.
She got like a little like tampon sticking out. Is that what that
Right.
is?
There's a little
Like
line to
oh,
show that lower ass cheek.
like
ass
like
cheek is a little bit low. It should
It's
be
a little
higher.
unnecessary.
all
Yeah.
right.
It's slightly misplaced too. It does look a little,
And then this ballistic that was on the, I think it was in that
Now there, the lip is correct.
that Wildstorm swimsuit special back in the day,
Yeah.
inked by Williams, Scott Williams on that one.
God, those swimsuit specials were so goofy, man. But
They were able to sell anything at that time.
Oh,
That just goes to show you all you had to do was a book full of pinups and call it a source book or something like that.
Well, and not only that, like those swimsuit books were just pinups, usually by the new guys in the studio who hadn't really done anything. So it's like the worst art in the studio, too.
And then maybe one by the guy who runs the studio.
Yeah.
Dude, the first year that I was at Wildstorm, I don't think I did much of anything in the way of stories. It was all pinups and trading cards.
Yeah, yeah. That cliffhanger of Bloodstrike can't be overstated. Luke Loudon. And you can't put both TNA in the same shot of one girl. The human body don't bend that way. Quiet nerd.
Whatever, we'll show you.
Yeah.
But then
Oh,
Sylvester
man,
would do
that's
some
a
shit
great
like
page,
this
too. Holy
and
shit.
draw William Shatner's face, and I'm like, he's so good.
Dude, even on the small ones, he nailed their likenesses, and it doesn't have that awkward look of people when they try to draw
Right.
likeness that almost looks traced. That just looks drawn well. God damn, that's good. Spock's a little off, but Bones, man. Bones looks fucking great. That is exactly Bones, man. So good.
Yeah, it's
Oh shit, I've never seen that page either. God damn. I hope
This
you have
one?
these files still, man. Yeah, these are cool. I
yeah.
haven't seen this.
This is for there was like a Phoenix miniseries or something like that in the 2000s or something like that.
This is in the day when Mark Silvestri was like starting a million things and would only draw like 3 pages before he'd disappear.
Right. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember at one point I ran into Joe Weems like the first time that I met him, and I told him like the way that you and I used to joke in the studio, Jason, about like we should send Silvestri a package of pencils because he can't find one, obviously. You just wait till the after, the back to school sales come on and like buy him a case of pencils and like ship them to him. He can't find a pencil.
God, we can't even say that about him anymore. Now you say that about McFarlane, because at least he did the Batman thing. What is McFarlane? Has he penciled anything in the last decade?
Again, he did some stuff. I think in Spawn 300. I think he did.
He actually penciled pages in.
I believe he did. Yes.
Wow, I'll have to go check out 300.
That it's divided up into segments, and there's one where it's J. Scott Campbell. There's one with McFarlane inks. There's one where it's Capullo with McFarlane inks, and then there's another section of it where it's McFarlane.
Oh, so speaking of Rob Liefeld earlier, I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about rumors going around, like they were trying to get Jim Lee back on X-Men right before he re-signed with DC, which people know about and stuff. And there was also a rumor that they were trying to get Todd back on Spider-Man someday. But the sorry, losing my track of thought. Sorry, what was I talking about?
McFarlane back on Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, sorry. He was saying there was a rumor, but he was saying guaranteed if Todd were to do it, it would have to be a crossover with Spawn, and it just made me roll my eyes. I'm like, he's totally right. Todd would never do it unless it was a crossover with Spawn. But I'm just saying,
Right.
dude, I'm so fucking tired of Spawn, man. Do something else. Spawn is lame. Yeah. Like the
Well, look,
writing.
I don't think Spawn's necessarily lame. I think Spawn has kind of become lame over time. That's the thing, man. Is you get these guys. I don't understand this either because Eric Larson's done the same thing. I'm like, dude, it was never my aspiration as a comic book creator to like find my gimmick of this one particular character and then beat it into the ground until it had no more life in it whatsoever.
That
And I
was
see
Eric's
both
goal,
of them
though.
kind of
Larson's-
doing that, and I'm like, look, man, there's nothing wrong with the Savage Dragon, and the first shit. I'll give you the first 100 issues of Savage Dragon are outstanding, and you absolutely should not miss out on those issues. Okay,
Mhm.
but after that, I don't know what the hell happened. It literally. Like when you start taking the Savage Dragon off planet and you put him in the Fantastic Four ship and take him to the multiverse and start, doing like, okay, dude, you're not doing a book about a Chicago police officer anymore. You're doing the Fantastic Four, and that's fine, but don't do it with this guy.
Yeah.
Put this down, go create another property and go do it with that. You taking the Savage Dragon into the multiverse is just fucking stupid.
Well, this could
That-
be an unpopular opinion, though, but I never thought Spawn was really that interesting of a character beyond. Was it? Did you talk about this, Rob, on your channel? But someone's talking about, like, remember Spawn when he first started? He had that countdown timer.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
Fast, like an original miniseries. Like,
Yeah.
that's when it was interesting, and beyond that, it hasn't been interesting. The only interesting thing about it has been the Capullo art for a long stretch, and then since then, it's completely not. I never thought the character was really that interesting. Like,
It lost
Blue
its
Dragon
way.
Was good. I mean, did it ever have a way beyond like?
I think it had like a graphic novel life at best.
Yeah.
Like tell one story with McFarlane's crazy awesome artwork and one big, I don't know what, 12 issues, and then that's the end of the story. It doesn't need to go for 3 decades and 300 issues.
Yeah, like Dragon was good for an ongoing series, even if it's like, it's reached the end. You could argue it's reached the end of its run now. Potentially, it should move on. But like, I don't think Spawn ever should have been an ongoing series.
I heard a theory about Spawn. Now I'm going to say this isn't my idea. This was presented to me. I forget the source, but I didn't come up with this, and it's not me saying this, but. It was been implied. I want to say it's by the guys over at Cartoonist Kayfabe. I want to say they were the ones that implied heavily that Spawn was cribbed from fucking Tim Vigil's Faust.
Yeah.
That Spawn is the mainstream PG acceptable version of Faust.
I don't remember enough about Faust to really say. I don't know.
Well,
I
it's
remember more of it.
basically a dude who sold his soul to the devil to sacrificed his soul to the devil for the sake of love.
Okay,
Very
yeah.
similar themes in both cases.
Rob, stop that.
You look at the art styles; they're both very, very influenced by Michael Golden.
Right.
Very detail oriented. Like when you look at the timing of when Spawn came around and first was published, it was just
you're
a few
probably
years before that Faust had come out. But Faust,
Yeah,
was
Faust was
so
big then.
but it was also so underground that you kind of had to be in the know, dude. Your average guy walking the street wasn't going to know anything about Faust. You could rip that off as much as you like.
That was the time when, like, all those sort of, like, rebel sort of sexy comics were kind of hitting it big, too, because they also had, like, Lady Death.
And The Crow.
And Danzig had his line, Verotic Comics, which was a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, those Verotic comics.
Yeah, I could see that totally having influence on Todd.
So, yeah, I mean, like, when you go look at Todd McFarlane's stuff, it also takes a lot. Like you could pretty much look at 80s comics and fucking trace back what Todd was looking at. Yeah. Okay, because he was obviously looking at Norm Brayfogel's Batman a lot, Because you go back and you look at Norm Brayfogel's Batman, he's doing a lot of this stuff with the cape that Todd picked up to use on Spawn.
Well, he was doing it in Batman too. Todd was.
Well, he's taking that from Norm Brayfogel.
Yeah, I mean that. If you compare the two, that's where he started drawing Spawn's cape for sure. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean there are certain. He was really big into Michael Golden, which, you know, in the mid '80s, who wasn't into Michael Golden? Everybody liked Michael Golden in the mid '80s,
right?
You know, so he was very heavily influenced by Byrne. Well, again, it's the mid '80s. Who, you know, throw a rock, and you'll hit somebody that, you know, that was a Byrne influenced guy. So, but yeah, he was very much a creature of the times. What he generated.
You know, Vigil just did a Faust Kickstarter to like reprint them all in a big hardcover book.
Oh yeah.
About Jack, because all his posts on Instagram are just him posting these like sweaty fucking
like hot girls to get your attention.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny, and people were just like enraged.
Like mid '80s beer commercials. You can't do that.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Hot girls in bikinis. What the hell? Next, you're going to tell us you're straight.
I feel threatened by your straightness. Are you going to try to convert me? I don't want my children around you. Don't leave my kids.
That's right.
And Rob just.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to jump. I've got a early dinner date to get to.
Dude, that's not important.
It may not be important to you, sir.
No, that's very important. I'm just kidding.
I forgot to warn you, Rob. Jason's the master of deadpan.
No, I love it. No, I'm on board.
Said, I feel bad for Vigil. He should be rich. Hell, we should all be rich. Yeah, Vigil should have gotten a lot more popular because he was like almost like a fine artist to a degree with that stuff. So much detail. But,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, well let's wrap it up here because it's been like an hour and a half. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So, all right.
Cool. Well, yeah, let me pop through. I guess yeah. Here's my dude with his tentacles. I didn't get super far on him today. In about a year of streams, I'll finish this fan art. So, because I only draw it on stream. And then over to Chuck here. Wait, not that one. There we go.
That's what I was dealing with.
Yeah. Ooh, got a little pixelated. We having stream qualities. But there we go. It's coming up. Cool. Yeah, and then you got your new page laid out, Rob. Here's,
Just
here's Rob's latest page.
Yeah.
He did.
I did it 3 decades ago.
Yeah, Silvestri hired him. He just did this last week, actually.
Right. Yeah. So, right.
Yeah. He's doing.
That's the dream.
Yeah. And then, let's go all three. Here we are, all together, all as one. All right, now if you could turn the camera to your face, Rob, I just want to put you full screen. Just your face.
Yeah. No one needs to see that.
Yeah. Here, I'll put me full face. You see my little.
Are you chugging a beer?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Actually, that's my reaction to your religious artifact.
Right. Oh yeah. You're like, I gotta burn that out of my brain.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we did it. So
absolutely.
We made it work.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, dudes. Thanks, watchers. Catch you all later.
Bye.
Yeah. Later.